So we're getting toward the end of the day. Thank you guys for keeping with us. John and I are really excited to do some live demonstrations. So we've been talking a lot about XR technology, and now we're going to look at it live together. John is going to be demonstrating from the iPad, and we're going to be casting. This is just us, John and Megan. I'll stand on a chair if I need to. I did wear my heels, so I'm all right. All right, so what are we going to cover today? So we are going to customize avatars. First and foremost, we're going to kick it off by looking at the tool that we have integrated with Ready Player Me, which is where those customized avatars come from. This is my avatar. We're going to create one together live. And you'll be able to see all of the different ways that you can make the avatar be different. It's really amazing, all of the different things that you can do. We're going to create some interactive learning experiences, and we're going to look at talking directly to the AI, crafting prompts, so we're maximizing that AI learning experience. So just a little about what we're going to do. So without further ado, let's go ahead.
Okay, I'm just going to pass my screen. And I'll do the same process here, so you'll have the microphone. All right, now what day is this, Megan? Is there a special day today?
It is. It is a special day. It is World Meteorological Day.
Wow. Did not know that. Did anyone know that? No.
Google told me that.
Yes. So we'll be exploring the topic of weather. And we're talking about weather, showing some models related to weather, related to the effects of weather, hurricanes especially. But what I'm going to do now is show you how to customize your own avatar. You've been seeing avatars here in videos. How do you create your own avatar? And I'm going to show you how you can create multiple profiles of different avatars and save it and select which one you want every time you go in. So I'll go ahead and kind of walk through the process. So in your EON XR, you will go to View My Profile and go to 3D. And you can see I have several avatars already created. Let's create one from scratch. And here you have the option to either take a picture of yourself, or you can select from a series of options that we give you. We have actually assigned Ready Player Me. This is the partnership that we've made with this company. So it comes from Ready Player Me. I'm going to create here an avatar, and I'm going to create it on my own picture. I'm going to take a picture of myself. So let's go here. Here's the camera. There. Kind of to the side, but I'll accept. And just in a short few seconds, it will create an avatar based on my profile. So any user can do this. You can create your avatar, save it. And now you can see on the right all the different characteristic options you have to design, customize this avatar. So if you scroll here, I won't go through every one of these options. Let's go to clothing. And the more you use this, you're going to see some new clothing items pop up. It's pretty funny. There's so if I'm the runner type, from New Balance, there's actually some branding in here. If I'm going jogging or something, here's a different outfit. There's so all these different profiles that you can save and customize right there. And let's go to hats maybe. So here, if I'm a racer, I'm going to go into a car. I have a hat. Here's the hoodie. So you can see all the different options that you will have in this profile. I'll stick with the Ready Player Me hoodie. And once you customize your profile, all you have to do is go and click Next, and that will save it right into that section. You can create as many as you like. So every time you go into an experience, you can select who you will be. Especially really cool what we call spatial meetings, where you meet live in different environments, and you can meet your fellow colleagues, your teachers, students as a unique avatar.
If you've always wanted a face tattoo, this is the perfect opportunity.
So I'll go ahead and continue. So that's the process, very easy to use. You can do this on a desktop or your mobile device. Let's go ahead and create an experience related to
Weather. So we have had crazy weather in California. Everybody knows that. And we actually have had tornadoes in places that you haven't usually seen tornadoes. There was one that was right by my house.
Hurricane.
We're going to look at hurricanes.
So I'm selecting a keyword, and this will place me into the library of 3D models that I could use to select hurricane options. So we'll be looking at different types of hurricane models and kind of showing you how you really can create learning experiences and expand to different topics and look at the word hurricane from so many different points of views that could relate to a lot of different academic topics you can bring up. So let's go to this Hurricane Harvey landfall. And I'll place it right down here.
And as that's loading up, I think this is one of those physical sciences that's really easy to see how, if I was going to teach about hurricanes in the classroom, okay, I'm going to label the eye of the hurricane, I want to label the bands of the hurricane. You saw the AI popped up, and now it has automatically created the knowledge portal so that I'm getting information about the hurricane as that is loading itself.
So what I'll do, you just mentioned that, what I'm going to do is start labeling. I'm going to label the eye. So simply, like I showed you this morning, how we can simply label a model. I'll come in here and place that label. There's the eye. Hit OK. I'll just type it in. That will be the eye of the hurricane. There's my label. And then I have an eye wall. I'm getting a little closer. Add the label. One more. Hit OK. That will be the eye wall. Hit OK. And then we have the...
Now, pop quiz for people that see the chapter 13, chapter 13.0. Do you know how to get rid of those annotations really fast and easy?
Escape.
If you're from EON, you can't answer the question, it doesn't count.
Okay.
So up in the upper right-hand corner, there's 3 dots, and I don't want John to do it right now because it'll get rid of it. But in annotation options, you can clear them right away. So it is just simply a delete all. And all, if your model has come in with annotations that you don't really want, they're all gone in one click, which is really nice.
So we can delete all. And here I can go back to the model. All right, so we've just added a couple of annotations. Well, I do have my AI assistant staring at me right there in the corner in front of Frank. And what I can do, I can start engaging with the AI, start asking questions about this Hurricane Harvey. So I'll start out with a generic question. Tell me about Hurricane Harvey.
Hurricane Harvey was a Category 4 hurricane that made landfall on the Texas coast in August 2017, causing catastrophic flooding and damage in the Houston area. More than 70 people died as a result of the storm, and damage was estimated at more than $100 billion.
Okay. Let me do a different question. Name and label the different sections of a hurricane.
I'm looking into the correct answer to your question. The different sections of a hurricane are the eye wall, and the rain bands.
Okay, so you can see how just changing up the question a bit, how labeling your model and engaging with the AI in conversation can actually pick up those annotations that you just added to that model, and it'll point exactly to where that you pinpoint in that exact model location. So this is a type of activity that you can do with eModel. You can learn about this. Again, we're looking at for more of a scientific view and describing the model, what it is. Let me personalize this model. So what I'm going to do, add a new annotation. Hurricane Harvey, Houston. So we're just showing you how you can add keywords, and these keywords will help you to find additional knowledge portals related to this topic. So I'm going to not only add it as an annotation, I'm going to add it with media. So now I can come in here and personalize, and I can change the search function even within this box. And now I'm looking at Hurricane Harvey Houston, select, go back in here, I'll add some more, I can add the video, and there I have a video coming up. Okay, there's Hurricane Harvey, and then a PDF. Now, funny I picked this topic, actually my brother lives in Houston, and I was talking about, hey, I'm showing this model on Hurricane Harvey. Well, he went through Hurricane Harvey. His apartment got flooded. He went through a rough time, and I had him send me some pictures, so here are some pictures of my brother's front street, what happened during that flooding. This is around the corner where he lives. This is actually his street, and people had to be rescued. There were boats that were coming right down the lane, and people here had to be rescued out, coming out the window at the very top roof, going into those boats to rescue people that were stuck. This is around the corner of his house, and I can add those. Well, kind of another
Hurricane Harvey
pedagogical
was the first
approach
major
here.
hurricane to make landfall in the United States since Wilma in 2005.
There it is. So the AI can read that out. This can be a personal storyteller for your students. If you want to engage in a project where students can personalize these experiences, bring in personal stories, record their own voices, add their own videos, and present this back to the class. Many engaging activities here in terms of a pedagogical approach, how this can be applied to personal storytelling in these environments. And here are all the knowledge portals I just created. So I have the video, the PDF, as well as the audio portion. So that's on the first model.
But we can bring in more, because this isn't just EONXR, but this is the Metaverse Builder tool where we can add more models. So John can bring in an additional model, and the next one that we want to bring in is going to kind of take this one step further. So, okay, it's easy enough for me to think about the physical sciences and labeling the parts of a hurricane, kind of like labeling the layers of your skin or the parts of an eye or whatever it happens to be. But now we have this,
Okay, yeah, I'm going to practice this. This is a hurricane weather research and forecasting model.
And how many of you know what that is? Okay, well, okay, one
All right,
person.
all right.
I see it. I knew one person would know what it was. So we had no idea what it was. So I said, John, let's ask the AI.
Okay. Describe to me the hurricane weather research and forecasting model.
I'll have the answer to your question shortly. The Hurricane Weather Research and Forecasting Model is a research project that aims to improve the accuracy of hurricane forecasting models. The project uses data from past hurricanes to improve the accuracy of future predictions.
Okay, but we do have knowledge portals, automatic knowledge portals that got generated, so I can watch a video on that model, see a picture, hear audio, and well, we can start engaging with this model. What do we see here?
Colors.
Different colors. So I'm going to simply label these colors. Blue. Blue. Greenish. And here. Green. Yellow. And then you have red over here. Type it in, or I can say that. All right, so we just label these colors on the model. And again, we're always showing you the possibilities. What can you do with AI? How you can change up the question a bit, bring more detail, keep it general, and we'll start explaining more, giving more examples of this. So I'm going to ask a specific question. Define and describe what the colors represent in the hurricane weather research and forecasting model. All right.
I'm
Got that?
preparing a detailed response to your question. The colors in the Hurricane Weather Research and Forecasting Model represent different categories of hurricanes. The red color represents the most severe hurricanes, while the yellow and green colors represent less severe hurricanes.
You should ask.
Yeah, we're going to ask her again.
It's a quick question. Dr. Cueto wants to know about your avatar. Where did it go? And what? Because we have the AI avatar, but you didn't do the 3D.
Good question. So this is the AI avatar. The avatar that I added will come in when I do a 3D recording. I record myself speaking and I play it back. That's who I represent. And you see there's a section for the AI. At this point, it is locked in for this profile. But going forward, there'll be an option to select your AI avatar. Try the question a different way.
Yeah.
Name, label, and describe the colors in the hurricane weather research and forecasting model.
I'm looking into the correct answer to your question. The colors in the hurricane weather research and forecasting model indicate different categories of hurricanes, with red being the most severe.
So this is one of those moments where you go, okay, well, that's not what she told John and I before, and I really liked her answer before. And this is the same spot where you have to stop with AI and technology and go, how do I teach my students to use this? And when you sit down, and I have 12-year-old and 13-year-old kids, and we sit down and we say, okay, she had an assignment on the respiratory system. So I gave her EON, and I said, pull up a model of the respiratory system and start asking the AI the questions on your worksheet, which is not cheating because I'm a good mom. And I sat there and I said, all right, now when she says something to you, because this is ChatGPT, it's good, but it's only as good as the prompt. And sometimes it gets it wrong, and sometimes it gets it right. And the number of times it gets it right is more and more as they keep iterating on the technology that they're utilizing, right? So she would prompt it, and I'm listening, right? And she would prompt it, and she would get a response. And then as she's, because the calculator told me that was the answer, so she's starting to write the answer, and I go, stop. Is that right? Look now. Go back in your book, go back in your notes, think about what your teacher said. Is that the right answer? And luckily for her, most of the time it was really right. So I think this is one of those teachable moments, and it's why as educators we want to make sure that as we understand that this is a tool to use, and sometimes the tool needs you to be the human, right? Like it. Now that's not quite right, or that's right, but that's not what we're talking about right now, that where the topic needs to get shifted just a little bit.
I'll ask one specific color. What does blue represent in the hurricane weather research and forecasting model?
I'm looking into the correct answer to your question. The blue represents the wind speed in the hurricane weather researching forecasting model.
Did it finally get it right?
Getting better.
It's getting better, yep.
So I go one by different colors, so just that relationship that we're describing with that avatar at this point. So some back and forth going on.
Can you ask only about the color? Does it remember what you're talking about?
Yeah, so this version that we're working on right now is our production version. The one that is released, I think it gets released very soon. It's on our testing servers. It does remember. So it's utilizing that newer functionality from ChatGPT where it's going to remember in the conversation. So John, in that circumstance, would be able to say, okay, what is this model? And then without having to repeat the name of the model every single time, it's going to remember through up until it gets to its character count, I guess.
And we can add assessments. So if I come in here, I could add an assessment, maybe make a quiz on the different colors. Now I just tap into the color, click on here, and now I have a quiz. I can add questions to these different colors, and I also can, so that's wind speed. What is wind speed in this model? So I can voice the question, I can come up with different possible answers, blue, red, come to identify the wind speed, locate on the model, and even do the 3D recording. So I'll demo this where I click on record. And okay, so I'm doing a demonstration on the weather research model, and I can point with my laser. I can also point at these different dots. If if I point and hold, right in there, how about this one? There it is. This could be a step-by-step process where I select certain certain dots.
I think it's a jiggly jog in the 3D model. It's alive. There you go.
Yeah. So step one, name the blue part, name the wind speed, name the rainfall, the temperature, the pressure. And I could stop the recording. And that will be a step-by-step process that my learners can repeat once they go into the system. And then we'll be able to evaluate that step-by-step procedure with an actual report showing did they get the steps right, how long did they take to label each part. We'll have a spider chart, completion rate, incorrect steps, just on that process. You can see there's that 3D assessment. I could play this back. And okay, so I'm doing a demonstration on the weather. There's the search model, and I can point with my laser. I can also point at these different dots. If I point and hold,
you know why? Because it's a geometry that's
the model,
jiggly and all of those collision
it's
detectors.
colliding with this, yeah.
It's an unusual model.
So that's the assessment. We can add assessment activities to any one of these models, make it relevant, make it interactive, make it fun. So that's another example. And you saw the differences, how we look from the science point of view, and now we're looking from a technical point of view, maybe the instruments related to a hurricane. Let's go ahead and move to the third model and change up the theme or the topic. See how we can have different topics.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to step into another model now, and this one is going to take our focus and completely spin it around. So physical sciences are pretty easy to visualize inside of EON, but what we're going to do now is look at what are those areas that are typically found more difficult to integrate into the tool. And those are going to be things like business. How do I bring business into this particular tool? Or how do I bring, I think Dr. Gallagher already showed us how we can bring literature and writing in very easily. But this time we're going to look more at business. So how can I take this model of, again, the prompt word is hurricane, but how can I use this in that regard?
So this is a scan model of damaged vacation property caused by Hurricane Irma. And I can see here, I can spin it around, see where this was scanned. I can see the damage caused, and then automatically new portals were generated from this hurricane to a damaged vacation spot. So I can play those portals. And I can start labeling. There's so many angles we can approach this. The total cost, what's the damage to this property? Legal issues, how do you get a property appraised? When you contact your insurance, what do they do once they get to a property? So let me add some labels to this section.
And as John is adding those labels, we can think as well, if I was going to be teaching about entrepreneurship or buying business property or buying investment property, how could I teach if we're in an area that is prone to particular natural disasters? How can you then teach to that?
So I'm adding a couple of keywords. Structural damage. Okay, so many ways you can label this. Very easy. And let's engage with the AI and start asking some questions. Describe to me the top 5 damages to homes caused by hurricanes.
I will gather all the necessary information for you. The top 5 damages to homes caused by hurricanes are 1. Wind damage, 2. Flooding, 3. Storm surge, 4. Tornadoes, 5. Windborne debris.
Describe to me the top 5 structural damages to vacation homes caused by hurricanes.
Interesting question. Let me find a good answer. The top 5 structural damage to vacation homes caused by hurricanes are 1. Wind damage, 2. Flooding, 3. Storm surge, 4. Roof damage, 5. Siding damage.
There we go. So again, we can label, I can create assignments, I can do a 3D recording, add my own voice, do a walkthrough. I can make this much bigger, get a little closer, maybe focusing on one home, looking at that damage. Labels different sections. How did Hurricane Irma cause this damage? What will the appraisal system do? I believe it's a insurance claim adjusters. When they come in out to the property, they will review the property. They'll actually take pictures, find out what's the damage.
Training the insurance
Training
adjusters.
insurance. So lots of approaches here to teach. And again, we're still in the same topic of hurricane. Questions?
Is that an actual photograph or a 3D photo? Is it a 2D or a 3D photograph?
It's a scanned model. So this was scanned. I believe it's with photogrammetry, and it was converted to a 3D model.
Probably a drone,
Yeah, drone scan.
Ah, okay.
just by a drone and just capture it.
Got it. So
Question?
that is a real house.
It's a real
I
house,
mean, you
yes.
can go inside, I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, I could come right in and see, look at the roof.
it's turned up.
Yeah, question?
So so if the student's using this, can they record their interaction with the AI? So I can see how did they ask, what questions they asked, and what the responses were?
All these responses are captured in a report that the teacher can go in and see what was asked during the session. The student can get the report. So all that's available.
Not only the exchange, but any video that was created, any picture, any 3D model, anything that was it's encapsulated, because you learn by reflection, right? So you want that even in a written form. It is beneficial actually to have a PDF or a Google Doc, right?
The top 5 structural.
You could also assign the students to do it as a screen recording, which is an option in there if you wanted to watch it as well.
And then, are you guys connected like with Canvas or any learning management system?
Yes, yes. So we do an LTI 1.3 integration with Canvas, Blackboard, Moodle, Brightspace. And we can save these individual experiences and put them right into the Canvas shell, where you click on one link, or you can download as a QR code, scan the experience, and it'll take you right into the lesson.
Single sign-on between Canvas and
The other way the student could kind of record their interaction is quite literally through recording their interaction. So on that same 3-dot area, there's a screen recording option, and that will record everything that's happening on the screen at the same time.
Okay. And as well, we have a 3D recording where I can record my voice, and I could do a walkthrough, point at different. Notice the structural damage, the roof damage, we have some tree damage, and as I'll walk around here, let's go to the end of the block. Okay, we have some cars that got demolished. And let's take a look.
and there's a refrigerator.
Refrigerator, 2 roofs are collapsed. And
Oh,
some
nice pool.
outside. I could save that as a recording, and that will record that, so I can see how that walkthrough. You can point at different. Notice the structural damage, the roof damage. We have some tree damage, and as I'll walk around here. Let's go to the end of the block.
That's the old avatar, you wouldn't walk.
Okay, we have some cars
The new one
that
walks.
got demolished.
Exactly, I think you're,
And let's take a look.
it doesn't talk anything.
Refrigerator, 2 roofs are collapsed, and some cars on that, right? And you just see all the possibilities that what you can do with one topic, how you can expand it into different projects. It could be different assignments that you assign your students. Maybe assign a blank model without all the knowledge portals. And then now it's your students' job to do a project where they will do this research. They will go through the process. They will put into their own words the power of you describing a procedure into your own words and having you send it back to the teacher to evaluate that experience. Yes?
John, what types of aircraft are used as hurricane hunters, and what type of data can they collect from a hurricane?
That again.
What types of aircraft are used as hurricane hunters, and what sorts of data can they collect from a hurricane?
What types of aircrafts are used for hurricane hunters, and what type of data can we collect from a hurricane? All right.
I'm preparing a detailed response to your question.
I bet.
The types of aircraft used for hurricane hunters are P-3 Orion and Gulfstream 4. The type of data that can be collected from a hurricane includes wind speed, direction, and pressure.
How'd she do?
How's that?
That's 90%, that's good.
That's
still an A.
It's tough to, better than me, for sure.
Great, any questions? Any other questions? Yes?
So, this picture that we're looking at, was it a video? How did they make this picture? Because it's blocks long. How did they make this picture?
Stitching.
Most likely with a drone, photogrammetry.
I mean, there are some amazing models. I don't know. So how much are you guys familiar with scanning? So 3Neo, small objects, Scaniverse, rooms, and then there are other solutions that can make very large models, right? And you can, this one is a pretty coarse model. It doesn't have level of detail. So it's a fairly, primitive model.
Mm-hmm.
The good models will have various level resolutions. And it's amazing that a phone, basically a phone, just most phones have better graphic power than any headset in the world. Yes, just because this one has a better computer. So yeah, there's lots of them, and that's exploding. And we are integrated with SketchUp, for example, so we can explore every single monastery in Transylvania if you want, or the Louvre or whatever. So yeah, that's I use it every time to, one use case that actually is very interesting. Remember most Australian universities make money on Chinese students? So does UK. So we did this deal with the University of Glasgow. That's where Sir Watts and Sir Kelvin went to, very prestigious place. And they live on those names, and I think 40% of the budget before COVID came from Chinese students. They have 5,000 students that pay for everybody's bills. Now guess what? When COVID came, that whole business line was dead. And that almost sank a lot of universities, especially in Australia, but in other places. So what they requested is to scan every single lab. Those little labs look like Harry Potter stuff, like really cool. And then use special meetings to have a lecture and have Chinese students be there. So basically like this, but high fidelity with real avatar walking. And so you have physical presence, maybe 10 students in real life, but then you have 5,000 students in China. So there are many use cases once you enable this capability. And again, this is very primitive, I would say, with what's possible today, and even more so with what's possible tomorrow. Yeah?
Great, any other questions?
Are some entities contributing their IP, so their revenue, so things would be automatically paid for if you're using their models? So not everything is free, right?
Yeah, so there are millions of models out in the universe. And between our library, we work a lot with Sketchfab, which there are a lot of free models on there. Some of them you do have to pay. CG Trader, TurboSquid, all these are resources that you can go to look for models. You can scan, so the scanning adds a whole new element where you can just, with your phone, you can use such as Scaniverse, go scan an object and upload that to the library. The idea is that in EON, you can upload your own models, take models from other sources and bring them in. And that will...
Mention CAD also, that's important.
And the CAD files. So we have over 40 different file types that we work with. If you have OBJ, Max, GLT, GLTF, those are the ones we're seeing most. If you are in TurboSquid, 3ds Max, Maya, or if you're designing your own models, you can import them right into the platform. So that's really the idea, is we're a versatile platform where you can bring your own equipment, your own models, use EON, or use from the millions of models that are available.
But in the next 90 days, we expect give or take 30, 40 days, that increasingly you'll see prompts that go text to 3D. So if I look to my library and I want the Opera House in Sydney, but I don't have it, that will be a generation. So if you're familiar with Journey 5, or anything on Stable Diffusion, or these are today, but text to pictures is free, it's easy. Text to video is coming, and now NVIDIA has come up with a solution in Google. We tried to play with it. It's still early days, but it goes so fast. So when I was talking this morning, if you guys were this morning, when I was talking about all these models, when I pick models, we kind of count by the time we release some of the new features that already these capabilities. Yesterday, Unity, I'm familiar with Unity, just released Unity AI, and if you read between the lines, because they don't say, they also have the support for prompt to 3D. So I think the challenge is not going to be 3D. Used to be the biggest challenge for us. If you go back 10 years, we have kind of solved it, but it's going to become even less so. That's not where the problem is in the future. Other problem.
I was just going to point out that that was something we did look at earlier today, so you could pull up a prompt and then, or pull up the experience prompt, and then it would start with text, and then it went to video, and it had image, and then you could pick a 3D model, but you didn't have to pick a 3D model. Or if there was a 3D model, you couldn't find one that you really liked, then you could pick an image instead. Or you might not need any of it once you've done all of those other things.
So once you've created your experience, here I'll exit, and now look at all the options that you have. You can keep this private, it's just an experience for you, you're not going to share it with anyone, or you can choose to share with specific people. I can make it public, or anyone in my institution to be able to access this experience. Or I can sell it right into the marketplace. This is where I'll put it into this marketplace that we just discussed earlier, where I can set a price for free or for a fee, and it will be available for all the other institutions who have access to EON to potentially look at this model, look at this experience, and purchase this for their institution, to allow you to buy and sell models through, sell experiences through the marketplace. And then I could just save, and then that report that we talked about with the AI will be available here, view AI report. And the conversation, the historical conversation I had with that AI will be available here for teachers, for students to access exactly what comments I had. All of the portals, the images that came through will be available in this section with a lesson plan, course syllabus and outline. So lots of data around that reporting tool. I can assign it to another learner, add students. And now I'm in the list of all the learners within my institution. I could assign that. And then also I could share, comment, view, and even look at the statistics. There's stats where a user came in here, did that 3D assessment, did any quizzes, assessment activities that will be located in this section.
So you get that, well, Mrs. Blevins, I already did that and it didn't work. It's just not telling you that I was in there. You get the cheat list, right? Like, yeah, I see that you were in there 15 times and you never finished it. That's fine.
No excuses this time.
But I also like that in terms of one of the things that came up a little bit earlier today was that idea that there is, if I'm a student who's struggling, I can go back into this and do it again and again and again and again and again until I get it. And my teacher can see that and can see, yeah, I see you're working really hard. You can also pull down those statistics to see who got it and who didn't, and immediately separate your class by level, right? Like, you guys are the ones that really need to focus on this concept some more. You're gonna sit over here, that's what you're gonna do. Here are my people that get it, all right, we're gonna move forward in this, that, or the other way. And so differentiating your instruction became that much easier. All right.
Can you comment with it, because when you're saving, there was one more choice that called persistent tracking. Did you talk about that before?
Oh, persistent tracking. I showed that at the beginning. If you were here, you saw where I laid annotations on top of a mannequin, on top of the baby infant. So I set a persistent tracking anchor, a geospatial anchor that will anchor that object to a specific location. And then it'll show a map exactly where that location was anchored. So another student can come in and anchor an object to that exact location. So that's what geospatial anchoring is. It allows you to tag the real world. Once you have that anchor, any object in the real environment becomes a potential annotated object that you can add knowledge portals to.
Can you open that again and let me just give you a use case. The use case is like, so Monday morning I want my students to, Monday morning I want my students to learn about anatomy, and I have 30 cadavers and I fill my room with cadavers. And each bench has a cadaver with different tasks. So they come in and they have to go to their bench, they open the phone, they don't know anything what's happening, and the test is on. So they, on the bench, have individually that cadaver, or that frog, or that engine, whatever. And it's tagged, so it's there. And I can delete it, so, and I can timestamp it. So if you go there, that's all. So now if you put the persistent tracking there. So what I'm trying to say is that everything I created, so there's different use cases. One is, okay, I'm going to, I'm in London, and I'm at a famous landmark, Piccadilly Circus. So I'm creating a whole experience around Piccadilly Circus. And then everybody that comes and visits it, they see, if they have the app, they see, wow, there's some application there. Someone talked about Roche, and if you put it along a machine, let's say I'm working for a maintenance repair operation activity. Okay, I'm almost.
There's the tag.
Okay, there's the
That's
tag.
our location.
Yeah, and then when you save it, you can. So let's say I do a maintenance. Okay, so I'll give you another use case. So I am working for Deutsche Bahn, and I'm repairing trains. And my role is an inspector to see if this train is valid to enter service. And I see a lot of problems. So I tag them, all the problems. And then someone centrally looks at the tag, understands what the problem is, and recommends an action. This one we have to replace. No, that one is good enough, we can just fix it. And then the second day, someone actually goes in the field, operates, and gets a step-by-step procedure what to do with each tag. So the persistent tracking is basically illuminating the physical world with knowledge, if you think about it. So we can have a philosophical so you put a character to your toaster, and you say, you are very philosophical, and I like fried eggs on loan, I'm divorced, so I have no one to be with, so I want my toaster to be I'm very interested in the second law of relativity, so romance me around second law. The toaster will do that to you. So that was an interesting one. I just want to see if you were sleeping there. I didn't say I'm pregnant, but I was about to say that just to see. Anyway, I think we are getting to the end, guys. Thank you.
And with that, we'll wrap up here.
Okay, thank you. That was amazing.